Fired without mercy, I rose from homelessness to owning 5 hotels. Now she works at my front desk, under my rules. Hello, my name is Alexandra Morgan. I am 27-year-old. The first night I slept on the street, it rained. Not a soft, cleansing rain, but a relentless, needle-sharp downpour that soaked my clothes and clung to my skin, until I was shivering so hard I could barely keep my teeth from rattling. I huddled under a bus shelter, watching the city lights smear in the water streaming down the glass. I had been evicted that afternoon. My job was gone, my savings barely enough for a week's worth of food, and the one friend I thought I could count on stopped answering my calls. All I had left was the thin coat wrapped around me and the stubborn belief that this couldn't possibly be the end of my story. It was the woman in the hotel lobby who pushed me over the edge. Her name was Veronica Hale. Sharp suits, sharper eyes. She was the manager of the St. Regis Grand, a marble and glass fortress of wealth in the heart of the city. I'd worked there for 3 years, front desk, concierge, sometimes housekeeping when they were short-staffed. I was good at my job. Guests remembered my name. Some even tipped more than I dared to hope for. I thought that meant something. The day she called me into her office, she didn't even look up from her computer when she spoke. Alexandra, I'm terminating your employment, effective immediately. The words hit like a physical blow. What? Why? Budget cuts, she said, her voice clipped. Your position is redundant. Security will escort you out. It wasn't until months later that I learned the truth. She'd replace me with her niece. No budget cuts, just cruelty disguised as efficiency. Losing the job was bad. Losing the apartment was worse. I sold what little I owned, but it wasn't enough to keep the landlord from changing the locks. For a while, I survived on shelters, day-old bread from the bakery, and the kindness of strangers who didn't ask too many questions. Every day I passed the St. Regis Grand, and every day I saw Veronica sweeping through the lobby, her heels clicking like a metronome counting out the rhythm of my failure. The bitterness kept me warm at night. The hunger kept me moving. The turning point came one afternoon in winter. I was sitting outside a small coffee shop, cupping a paper cup of hot water between my hands, when a man in an overcoat stopped in front of me. You worked at the St. Regis, didn't you? He asked. His name was Henry Dalton, and he'd been one of the regular guests, quiet, observant, always polite. I told him the truth, or at least most of it. Something in my voice must have moved him, because he asked me to meet him again the next day. That meeting changed everything. Henry didn't hand me charity. He handed me an opportunity, a job at one of his smaller hotels, not glamorous but steady. I threw myself into the work, learning everything from the ground up. How to manage staff schedules, how to negotiate with suppliers, how to turn a struggling property into a profitable one. He became my mentor. I became his protege. When he retired 3 years later, he sold me his smallest hotel for a price so low I thought it was a joke. It wasn't. He said he trusted me to make something of it. I did. Within a decade, I'd turned one hotel into 5. Boutique, high-end, each with a personality and charm the big chains couldn't match. Guests didn't just stay, they returned, bringing friends, telling stories about the woman who ran the place like it was a piece of her soul. Success changes you, but it also changes the way people look at you. One morning, my assistant brought me a RSUM for a managerial position at my newest property. The name stopped me cold. I stared at the paper for a long time, my coffee growing cold. Her credentials were solid, decades in the business, though I noted the conspicuous absence of the St. Regis on her recent employment list. My assistant said she'd been between jobs for nearly a year. I smiled, slow and deliberate. Call her in for an interview, I said. She didn't recognize me at first. Time and success had reshaped me. I wore tailored suits now, hair swept into a chignon, no trace of the timid employee she'd once discarded. Miss Hale, I said, shaking her hand. I've heard a lot about you. Her smile was tight, the kind people wear when they need something. I'm eager to bring my experience to your establishment. I let her talk about her management style, her years in hospitality, her passion for excellence, and then, when she was finished, I leaned back in my chair. Do you remember firing a young woman named Alexandra Morgan at the St. Regis? I asked. Her eyes flickered. I don't recall every employee. You told her the hotel had budget cuts. I interrupted, my voice like ice. But you replaced her with your niece. Her face went pale. I was that woman, I said. And now, you're sitting in my office, asking me for a job. I could have thrown her out. I could have told her exactly where to take her sum and what to do with it. But revenge, I'd learned, is best when it lingers. I'll hire you, I said. On one condition: you start as a front desk clerk. Uniform, shifts, the works. You'll report to a manager 10 years your junior. You'll work the holidays, the late nights, and you'll keep that smile on your face for every guest, no matter how tired you are. She swallowed hard. That's a step down from my experience. It's the only step you're going to get, I said. Take it, or walk out now. For the next year, I watched her in the lobby, standing where I once stood, greeting guests, answering phones, smiling until her cheeks ached. The sharp suits were gone, replaced with the standard navy uniform. The heels, too, traded for practical flats. I didn't humiliate her publicly. I didn't need to. Every day she came to work, she remembered the choice she'd made all those years ago to throw someone away like they were nothing. Now she knew what it felt like to be powerless under someone else's authority. One evening, as I left the hotel, I paused by the front desk. She looked up, her eyes wary. You've done well, I said. She nodded. Thank you for the chance. I didn't answer. I walked out into the night, the city lights glinting off the wet pavement. The rain had started again, cold and sharp. But this time, I didn't feel it. I'd come a long way from the bus shelter, and I had 5 hotels to prove it. Thanks for watching. She took it.